Welcome back to another episode out of the Blank Podcast. I'm here with the angry dad himself.
The angry dad himself. Thank you for having me back on, Robbie. I appreciate it.
Coming at me with I'm still like surprised because I've only known you with the beard, and now that I see it without it, it's like, what do I do with myself?
You know, it does that to every. When I shaved it down, and I walked down to my to the living room, and my son looked at me, and he was like, "What happened?" He was like in surprise. My youngest son, because he's like, the beard looks way better because it was like, it was pretty thick.
It seems like it held wisdom in it, but I still think you got some of that wisdom left in the tank.
Just a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Do you think that it's weird that you can acknowledge something like that? Like when someone gets a haircut, they kind of expect you, like it's nice when you acknowledge it, or someone shaves a beard or something. But then when someone's missing an arm, why do we not acknowledge that? Like I feel like that should be cleared right off the table. Like you had an arm yesterday. Where did your arm go?
That's just one of those things that getting a haircut and trimming your beard and stuff like that, it's the new person mentality where it's like, oh, it's fresh. But when you lose an arm and you lose a leg, it's always a negative.
But it always opens it up to like a new story. Like, how did you lose your arm? And you start thinking the dude lost it like in a train accident saving a child. And then he goes, no, I had diabetes. You're like, oh my God, I thought you only lose feet. He goes, nope, you can lose anything.
Oh yeah, you can definitely lose anything. It's just fucking nuts. Or like, I lost it in the track. Like you said, if I lost my arm, I wouldn't be like saying I got died. Not like, no, I ran into a burning building, a fucking beam fell on my fucking arm. If you had to chop it off with a fucking saw, no pain pills, and I just had to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I saved like 6 people.
And then they toss out, no, I just had diabetes. And then it's like, oh, okay. I kind of lost a little bit of respect for you because I built up this story into my head. Now, I'm going to ask, do you have anything on that's weighing on your mind, or would you prefer I went a different direction?
No, we can do that. Like, there's one of the things that, and I constantly talk about it too, is, when we have weight on our mind, and it's just not on your mind, it literally rests on your whole shoulders, rests on the whole body. And a lot of people don't understand how to express their mind anymore because everyone's always preoccupied with what's going on with them and friends and their family. So some people just feel uncomfortable actually talking about what they want to do, how they want to do it, or what they really want to do with their life. And so a lot of times that just weighs on your mind so fucking much that people can't like express themselves. And it's so fucking frustrating because, I've gotten to a point in my life, I no fucks. Whatever I say, I'm going to blurt out my fucking mouth, whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? If you don't do these things, you could build up so much anxiety and stress in you, it could kill you.
Well, like you talk, like I probably listen to every single one of the episodes, at least as soon as it gets released. But it's like, you talk about a lot of stuff that's like real. It's like my inner thought type thing. There's that I always consider like I might have multiple personalities, but it's more like multiple thoughts. There's always that one voice that's like, oh my, like what the fuck? Like when you're at a 4-way stop and that voice comes in your head, like is anybody gonna go? Like it's just like this, like there's that comes up. But then I start to look at like do you ever feel like you're making up for lost time? Because like the way stories you've told me from when you were younger and doing all these crazy things, and then like I see you now, like, the pool, or you're getting like this new grill, or you're building a new hot tub or something. I'm like, it seems like now it's like, I'm going to start treating myself because for so long, I never thought I would be here. And I was like, I respect the shit out of that.
Now, and that's the truth. Growing up, and this is the realest fucking shit you can ever see. Me and my friends, and there was like 5 of us. We were all solid as fuck. And we were like the front runners of the neighborhood we grew up in from. It was literally a gang. And we were told and taught, and it was ingrained in our head that by the age 18, we're either doing life in jail or we'll all be dead. Because we were doing literally crazy shit like that. And after that, we all basically became successful in our own ways, where we're like, we actually, we're living our best lives now. But it's at that point now where I'm at a certain age where I no longer have to carry the whole family. Like when my wife, she helps me, I help her, just as a family. Normally everything always rested on my shoulder. I used to have crazy ass jobs, work crazy ass hours, and never had time for anything because all I knew was to work and to support my kids, support my family. But now I'm at a point where I can work, but I'm not working all the time. I'm working a regular job, a regular 40-hour-a-week job, no stress, no mess. And and like, yeah, just like you mentioned, buying a grill. It's, I bought a $700 barbecue pit, and it took my wife to twist my arm to buy it. And once I bought it, I was like, oh my God, this, like, I use this thing. And it's so fucking great, because I'm like literally making time for the things that I want now. And it feels fucking great. We bought a hot tub, we bought a grill, we remodeled the house. It's like all these things that I've been wanting to do. And now that we're doing it, it feels fucking great. And I'm like, fuck, we're actually like really relaxing and enjoying life, and not stressing off of work or stressing off of money, because, we're both at a point where, we don't have to do it. And it's so fucking great, and it feels so fucking good. And, we share it with the kids. The kids, we take them trips, we take them places. And before, we could never really do that, because we just have to, make money, pay the bills. But now it's like, like, you get to a certain point in your life where once you stop giving a fuck about all the extra bullshit, you can literally just start doing your bullshit and fucking enjoying your life.
Well,
It's so fucking.
they tell you when you're in your 20s that this is your time to go live life and party and stuff, but it's not really like that. The kind of the world is, this is the time you need to hustle for 30 something years until you're not an old age when you can actually start to enjoy the money, because you'll never have to work, or you'll be able to live off your insurance or your retirement or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but shit, like, I think that's why YouTube stars are so popular, is because they're so young. A lot of them are, and they're becoming successful, and they don't have to really do a whole lot of grinding and a lot of hard work, as much as like working a labor job for 30
Yeah.
years, then hopefully being able to retire if a fucking beam doesn't hit you in the head and kill you. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
I think that's why it's so popular to them. But I look at it like, should the world be at a place where you shouldn't really have to worry about what age success is supposed to hit you? Like, people say, you'll find something or you'll come across something. It's like, man, are you having fun? That's like the big question in life. And I think it's a tough pill to kind of swallow. And I know I've been getting a little bit deep on my episodes, not really being so much humor, but I think it's an impending thing, as we're seeing, of the people want to talk about the world as crap. And I'm like, yeah, it is, but it's also got some good in it to it too. But you don't see the good. You see the bad 24/7, everything's showing you that. And I'm like, man, people are grinding, people are working, and all they want to do is be able to live and not struggle. But why is that set for only when you've worked a certain amount of time for you to be able to really not even struggle? And even then, there are people that are retired and still picking up a second job because their retirement doesn't cover their cost of living.
It's crazy, because, that's exactly it. Is like, before growing up, the generation before us, you had baby boomers, and they were literally like making money. And the thing is it didn't require as much as it requires now. You know what I'm saying? The growth that we've had, it's completely changed the marketplace, because now, say I live in California, and, I lived in a house for, fuck, I want to say almost 38 years. I've lived in this house. I was always in and out of it. The house my mom and my grandma lived in. And then when my mom moved out, I took over. And the thing is like, I was paying like $1,000 a month, and it wasn't even $1,000 a month when my mom lived there. But, rent goes up, and, it just is what it is. And, I was barely making it, taking care of 4 kids, taking care of myself, paying my bills, doing the things that I was doing. But the thing is, once like the owners were like, hey, we're going to remodel this house, we're going to redo this house, and then we're going to literally, like, from $1,000 to like almost $2,000 a month just for remodeling the house, something that I've lived in my whole fucking life, that I've worked on, fixed, all that stuff, never bothered anybody. And then, like, how in the fuck am I supposed to afford that? You know what I'm saying? As a single father at that moment in time, it's like, the fuck is going on here? And it's like, it's just for no goddamn reason. But it'll only be two. It's the economy that was the area that I was in. And so, like, if I wanted to stay there, I was literally going to have to get a second job and fucking try to fucking make it to work together, But the thing is like I said, back then it was a lot more easier. Things didn't cost as much, but now the cost of living is so fucking ridiculous. And especially right now, because like with the pandemic, post-pandemic getting ready to be starting, it's fucking, the money is just so fucking ridiculous that it's like, how are we supposed to do anything? Like, one of the things you always hear is millennials don't leave the house. Well, millennials can't leave the fucking
Yeah.
house. You know what I'm saying? Like these motherfuckers are trying to go to school and get some stupid fucking degree that will add up to fucking nothing because they're programmed to fucking be in a college form education where they're not going to afford. I know so many people that have degrees that either work with me at Costco or fucking don't have don't even make a high paying job. Now check this out. My cousin I grew up with, we used to work at this place called US Pipe and Foundry, and he was making like $22 an hour. And then he went to school. He went to the DeVry University of School because he was tired of working manual fucking labor. He's like, I do not want to work manual fucking labor anymore. He fucking goes to school 3 years, graduates with this associate degree in technology fucking for whatever fucking thing it was for this fucking school. And all the jobs that were being offered to him were 15 fucking dollars an hour. He was so fucking, he's like, I make $22 an hour. And this is like back in 2000. All right. And I was like, I make $22 an hour. And now these fucking jobs are trying to offer me $15 a fucking hour after I just paid fucking like almost $40,000 for this stupid fucking degree. He was so fucking pissed and upset that it was a waste of time, a waste of money. He's all, I learned a lot, but I'm not going to get paid a lot. And he was just like, what the fuck is that shit? And that's the real scenario here. You know, it's like my youngest son, or not my younger son, you know, he's about to be a junior in high school. And he's asking me like, hey, Dad, what does this pay? What does this do? Let me fucking, and you know, and I'm a realist. All right. I didn't graduate high school. I don't have any fucking degree. I have a truck driver's license. I went to school for truck driving. All right. I don't truck drive now. I used to. But you know what? My son's asking me, he's like, Dad, what do I need to do? What should I do? What I should go to college. And I told him, like, look, if you want to go to college, great. I'm going to help you out. But what do you want to do? He's a young kid. He doesn't fucking know. Well, guess the fuck what? I'm like, look, there's what we call trade schools. I want to be a plumber. I want to be a mechanic.
I went for HVAC.
Technician. You know, what'd you say?
I went for HVAC.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, these are like legit things you want to do. You know, and he was asking me, well, how much do garbage men get paid? In my area here, garbage men get paid like at their top levels, like almost $55 an hour. You know what I'm saying? And all you got to do is get a truck driver's license. You don't need nothing fucking else. No other education, no fucking truck driver, fucking, you know, associate's bachelor's degree to become a fucking doctor to drive a garbage fucking truck. And there's nothing wrong with being a garbage man because guess the fuck what? They're a union. You get retirement, you get pension, you get your 401k, you get cash to fuck out just to be a fucking garbage man. You know what I'm saying? There construction jobs, fucking, you know, there's so many different things. Like one of the things I was telling my son, because he you know, he likes to work on shit and fix shit. I'm like, well, guess the fuck what? Become a diesel mechanic. You can join the fucking union for the diesel mechanics and work on heavy machinery. And when you say diesel mechanic, look, trains, cranes, fucking, you know what I'm saying? Any, you know, there's so many, you know, heavy equipment. You know what I'm saying? There's not just a diesel fucking truck in a mechanic fucking shop, not one of these ones on the cars. You work on one of these heavy industrial machineries, and guess what? You get fucking paid ridiculous. And plus, you get to travel, you get to go places, you get to fucking be places. And there's so many different aspects to make this fucking money. And I'm always constantly pointing things out, asking him, telling him. When he was a kid, he's like, I want to do this. I want to be a marine. He didn't want to be a marine biologist. He's like, I want to work with whales. And so I would tell him, this is what you need to do to work with fucking whales. And so guess what? We can do that. I'll send you to fucking school for it if that's what you want to do. But you just got to fucking follow through. But you know what? As he got older, his thoughts and his mind changed on what he wants to do. And that's what we're supposed to do with our kids, is to fucking mold them to what they want to fucking do. Encourage what they want to fucking do. You just don't stuff their fucking dreams.
Instead, you tell them they can be president, they could be an astronaut, so that when they're 40 years old and they figure out that they're not that, they're working in a job that they've worked in, stocking shelves at a store for 20 something years, they have an identity crisis and feel like they're a fucking loser. I'm like, that's the issue. Is like, see, when I was a kid, I never dreamed of a super big house with an awesome pool and all these things. What I dreamed of was something that I wouldn't have to ever struggle or pay bill to bill. And I don't think that is normal for a lot of people. I think a lot of people see things that they see on TV and want these types of things, but I just consider it like the price of survival is already pretty high. And I look at it like, what's the future going to hold for generations that are growing up? It's going to be even more and more difficult. And I'm like, man, our ideas of what value is, for instance, like everything costs a price. I think the best documentary that probably describes that in a very good way, at least that relates to maybe me and your physical interests, which is weightlifting, would probably be Ronnie Coleman's documentary, where you get to
Oh yeah.
see that this man had put his body through hell to be Mr. Olympia 8 times. And
Yep.
he's had back surgery multiple times. He's had fused discs, still can't walk without a cane. He's put
Yeah.
his body through shit, and he's only like in his 50s. And you wouldn't
Yep.
expect, and same thing with garbage men. Garbage men are doing this hard ass work where, man, after 10, 15 years of that, sometimes you don't even get to really make it to retirement. You have to leave because you have a physical injury that's going to be with you for the rest of your life. And it goes back to, like we're saying, dude missing an arm. Plenty
Yep.
of people out there that are doing something and they don't know that one day that's going to happen. Firefighters, all these things, and they
Yeah.
get paid dog shit. But if you fucking do something on TV that's, you're a famous actor, we consider that more wealthy and more valuable because more people care about that rather than the people that are doing the side shit. Where if it just stopped, like remember when the garbage men went on strike
Yeah.
and there was just trash piled up on the streets and shit and
Yep.
nobody was cleaning it up, then you were like, oh shit, we do need garbage people, because it's those small things. I don't think people really pay attention. They always look at the obvious goal rather than the side shit. And I'm like, the side shit's the one that does it in. Like, I'm not in it for the short game. I'm in it for the long game.
Exactly. That's exactly, we got to do it for the long game. And that's one of those things is like, common sense is no longer taught, and being realistic is no longer taught. And just like you said, that price of survival keeps increasing. But the thing is if you don't teach people how to increase, you don't teach your kids, your future selves, to increase that, then you're just floating. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like I said, you want to be able to just survive. And that's all I've ever wanted to do. And that's all I ever did for the longest fucking time. You know what I'm saying? But something finally just like clicked, snapped, was like, I had the realization like, oh, I don't, for myself and my situation, everything that I do, things just started lining up to the point where I don't have to kill myself at work. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting here fucking pushing myself, because I don't have to fucking stress off it. You know what I'm saying? When I leave work, I leave work, like people like, what, you're like, huh? Like, you don't exist to me right now. Don't fucking call me. I'm not picking up a shift. I'm not coming in. I don't give a fuck if there's an emergency, because guess the fuck what? I have a schedule that's already on the fucking board, and I'll see all motherfuckers when it's that time.
Yeah, it's like I think everybody's had that feeling on their day off where it's like, fuck, I got work tomorrow. And you just take this deep sigh. You could be sitting in a river. You could be sitting on your couch. You should just be sitting there thinking and thinking, well, I got the rest of today, right? And the next thing you
Yeah.
know, it's like 6 p.m. and you're like, fuck, I got to get to work early in the morning tomorrow. And you're just sitting there like it's like going to school back in the day for some people, like
Yeah.
looking up at the ceiling, like, fuck, I got an hour. I can sit here and lay down before school starts. Then you look and it's like 30 minutes, and then you're literally counting it, and it's just going by so slow because you're savoring every last little minute you have left. It's like, I don't consider that your fault. I don't consider that the person's fault. I consider that a fault that you have to be in a job that you don't want to necessarily be in because you need to pay the bills. And sadly, the bills are expensive. So you have to work this job. It's like people don't feel that way when they want to go to something they actually enjoy, when they actually really, they're excited. When I get ready for the countdown to the gym, I'm like, fuck yeah, gym's coming, gym's coming. I'm getting more interested in the cardio now than I am with the weightlifting. I'm starting to enjoy that elliptical for 3 hours with some Netflix. But dude, it's just interesting because I look at it like, man, these are things I never even thought about as a kid that I'm thinking about now. And I'm like, I'm not speaking like I'm an elderly person. I'm just looking at it like, man, they don't tell you so much shit. They don't tell you like, why the fuck credit? Why do you have to go in severe debt and slowly pay it off to show that you're a reliable person? That doesn't make fucking sense to me. But people are like, well, that's just what you got to do. But why? Well, that's just how this is. So you can get this. But why? I don't know. That's just what you do. It's like, can we start questioning things that we're doing? Is that okay to raise a question? I thought the whole point of life was to ask the questions.
Yeah, and those fucking credit bureaus are bullshit. Everything, all that shit is complete bullshit. You know what I'm saying? There's workarounds. There's fucking all these things that you can literally do to hack up credit to make it look fucking good. And it's so fucking frustrating that that's an actual fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? It just blows my fucking mind that we have to deal with that shit. And then it's something that we have to teach our fucking kids. And It's like no one prepares anybody for any of this when you're growing up. Like the important things, like all they're trying to teach you is the basic shit so you guys can fucking be a fucking basic warehouse worker, a basic fucking facility. Going to school just basically trains you to go to an 8-hour fucking job every fucking day for that fucking reason. You know what I'm saying? So you're this mindless person where you're just fucking trained to be like, I need to be in this building for this many hours just because I need to. Not because you want to, because you need to, because that's what school is designed for. And they don't teach you how to fucking do your taxes. They don't teach you how to fucking deal with credit. They don't teach you how to deal with loans. They don't teach you how to fill out fucking real applications for real fucking things that you're going to fucking do. And school is just a big, I hate it, but it's just a big waste of fucking time. It just plain and simple it is. It's like, there's different ways to fucking learn and teach and fucking all this shit. But it's like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just blows my fucking mind that we really got to deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying?
What's crazy to me is the fact that, and I don't think I've ever felt this way in forever. Mostly because I think it's coming to light to it now, is how many people sit there and say it's a conspiracy theory to think that there's an Illuminati or a secret society that's working in the background. I'm like, this, with the amount of shit that's happened, that's 100% probably true.
Oh yeah, it's super true.
We're a fucking cog in a machine. Everything is set up for us to fall back into line. And when you do pop out of line, you get set right back into it. Okay, well, you quit your job because you want to pursue this personal journey. Well, you're not really benefiting society. You're not the cog in the machine again. So we're end up taking your house away from you unless you can get back to work. And then it's like, man, like, and I feel like these superstars, these YouTubers, these fame people, they just somehow like found a way around it, like found a way to Twitch stream that nobody, like for instance, they're talking about like with podcasting. Actually, best example would be crypto coin. So when I was talking to a guy who was explaining crypto to me, he was like, yeah, but now they're finding a way to tax it because for so long the government couldn't find a way to make money out of it. Now that they're starting to get onto it, it's dying a little bit. And I'm like, see, that's kind of like with life a little bit. These YouTube stars that make it so high up, they go, hey, how'd you do that? It's like, well, I started doing this in 2001, then I built up my thing and then it's landed here. And they're like, cool, good to know. Good to know. He's like, so why'd you want to know that? Well, we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen again. So we need to ask people like you who've cheated the system. So we're going to be like, okay, they passed because they're smart enough to beat our system, but we want to learn how you did it so we can make sure it never happens again. So we can keep this functional machine running. And I'm like, that's 100% got to be a possibility. You cannot throw that out.
Yeah, no, it like I said, these people are out there to fucking stop what they were fucking. Like I said, when's the last time you seen an up and coming YouTube star really fucking pop and hit hard like the way these guys are that started off early on? You're not seeing that. The formula is completely fucking different now. There's so many different obstacles that they have to do, and on top of that too, they have to. I'm pretty sure there's someone out there just filtering it out and be like, we need to push this. We need to make sure that this is going out because this is what lines up with our fucking system.
And if it doesn't fit their agenda, they can figure out a way to silence you, but they have to get something over you.
It's what you call shadow banning. That's the whole point.
What's his name? Milo Yiannopoulos. A lot of people hate that fucking guy because he's kind of like conservative. He's a gay guy that's married to a black guy that is gay and Jewish, and they somehow found a way to cancel him. All like that was the biggest thing, is because they didn't like the stuff he was saying. They didn't like all these type of stuff. And he talked about a childhood experience that he had where he was molested in a positive way. He talked about it just like George Takei has talked about, and they found a way to ban him from it. And I'm like, if they don't like what you say, it's so hard for them to try and figure out a way to ban you. But the easiest thing to do is to make you look terrible in the eyes of the public, or find something that you said and take it out of context for people to ban you.
Oh yeah, so they hit you with those sound fucking clips, and you know how to clip them together really fucking good to make it look very menacing.
That's so nuts to me because it's completely different. Like over here, we people have more control than I think than we believe that we do. And I think the best example of that was when all those heads of whatever those people at the GameStop stock, they were taking pictures of other people that were losing money and pointing and laughing, and the GameStop stock fucking crashed and all this crazy shit. Shows you how powerful people with social media can be. But all they do is they show us this idea of this person that isn't true, and they want you to go against this person. They want you to treat this person like dog shit. I mean, the whole fact that, like, let's look at Chick-fil-A, for instance. They were honest about what the hell that all their profits go to, which is terrible. I don't agree with.
Yeah.
But every single company around them goes, now this is the time to show our support so people will buy our products. It's all
Yeah.
this like weird, like, how can I get this person to still give me fucking money? And I'm like, damn, like, is no one not paying attention to that? You really think fucking Sony cares about you? Do you
You
think
know,
Sony cares about who you fucking date? They don't give a fuck. They want your money.
that's it. The money makes that world go around, and that's exactly what they're fucking doing. You know what I'm saying? They found ways to integrate into our fucking brains to fucking make us pay for these crazy fucking things. You know what I'm saying? They literally found a way to fucking take our fucking money away from us and put it right into their fucking pockets directly.
And it's like when someone dies, how many people actually give a fuck about the person who dies? Instead, they just put up a post like, rest in peace, I will always remember you. And then they type in the person's name in a GIF, and it gives them a bunch of movies that they were in. They put one of those GIFs in there, and then people like it because they're looking for a like. Your
Yep.
literal love for someone, your false love into something, someone that is passed away, no longer with us, so if their life is now gone, you get a like for, even though you don't even know who the fuck that person is.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's just so fucking crazy, you know. It's just like the way social media is, the way, and like I said, I'm deep into it. I'm deep into social media, and you know, it's like I said, I've been trying to do my thing and build this brand, and like I'm just barely cracking the door. I literally like got I got accepted into a Facebook program, and the Facebook program started giving me ads and started giving me all these different fucking things, and all of a sudden, like, all my shit's starting to fucking explode, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Did you pay
Like,
for
this shit.
sponsorship?
No, well, I get sponsorships, but I don't, I don't have to do any of that. I
Because I've seen
literally.
you sponsored on my Facebook. I'm like, how the fuck is it? Do you? I did that advertisement shit too, but they always charge the shit out of you even
Oh yeah,
after the
no,
ad's done.
well, see, that's the thing is like, I had a meeting with Facebook, I had a meeting with Instagram, and then, you know, and when I've had these meetings with them, they're just asking me things that I need to do or things that need to be done, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is what I do, this is what I'm doing, and all I'm doing is giving them my feedback, and then they're like, oh, you qualify for this new program that we're doing, and guess what you can do?
What is
And
the program?
so I don't know. I don't remember what it was even called, because it was like a couple of fucking a couple of emails and like 3 or 4 phone calls, and then they were just breaking down the algorithm to me on how to like literally like push my program into like to like you know, like I don't remember how they were even doing. I just kind of set it on autopilot,
Well, are
but
they
they're
giving
like,
you certain things to say or do or
no,
act?
no,
No.
no, give me. The only thing I'm not allowed to do is I can't cuss and I can't have
It's
vulgar
your fucking
words.
show. What are you
That's what
talking about?
that's what I told, because I asked the guys, like, did you listen to my show? And they're like, and it's not because of my show, it's because of my posting. My posting is what generated this. He's like, look, you just have content. Your content is caught our attention, and that's just basically what it is. It's not my podcast. It's just like I you know. And the thing is, I always tell people, if you're gonna fucking be on social media, post content, and hashtags are important. The reason those hashtags are important because they which was somebody explained to me, is they create gravity. And once you create gravity and you become an entity in the internet and you have weight, you start pulling things towards yourself. And that's how this works. And so guess what? I've been doing this for fucking God knows how fucking long. And, you know, I just generated enough gravity, start drawing people to me. But the thing is just like you said, my content doesn't line up with anybody's shit. It's just,
Memes.
yeah, exactly. It's
They're
just,
funny memes.
it's literally just the bullshit that I post created enough weight to fucking not verify me, but to give me enough fucking clout to fucking for them to like, oh yeah, we want to talk to you. We want to see what you're doing. Why are so many people, you know, viewing you? And so that was the whole purpose of this class, is them to fucking figure out what I'm doing to either stop me or help me.
That's so weird that there is like a type of thing where it's like, I do want to either silence you or I want to help promote you depending on if this conversation goes well or not.
Yeah, and that's how it felt to me.
That's fucking nuts, man. Because they have a thing in news media to silence people, like we're talking about with Milo and all that.
Yeah.
there are actual people like insurrection people that will come in and they will literally shut you down or do these types of acts to make sure you are never heard from. It's like the censorship issue, but that correlates to so much in the government and things of that sort, man. It's so nuts to me where it's like, man, even if you do end up succeeding in your own way, can you really succeed in your own way if it doesn't fit the views of the people that you're going against or you're
And
producing content to? I think Instagram, Facebook, all these, well, Facebook will always be around probably.
yeah,
Instagram though, I think it's died off a lot from when it first started. It's fucking
no,
dropped.
it's definitely TikTok has taken over. And but the thing is, if Facebook and Instagram are owned by Facebook, you know what I'm saying? So it's all tied together. It's literally on the other side of the bay from me. You know what I'm saying? It's literally just across the bridge where they're at. Because before they
Silicon
would
Valley.
always, yeah, Silicon Valley. And they used to always send me emails for invites. They're like, hey, why don't you come down to our facility? Like, I ain't fucking going over there. First of all, I'm not dealing with the traffic. Second of all, I'm not crossing the fucking bridge.
I just want to sit inside and watch my stories.
That's exactly how I act whenever someone asks me to go do something. I'm like, I don't want to fucking do that. I just want to eat a muffin and relax.
Exactly. I got just enough time to do nothing.
It's like, I just got off work. I don't want to go down to your fucking Facebook meeting where you're going to talk about Mark Zuckerberg and it does not compute bullshit. I don't care. But it's just crazy because I think you look at a lot of these platforms and I think when people try and do like it's just gotten to this point where it's like, even if you have a thought, if you have a feeling, you have an emotion, it could be labeled as misinformation or it could be put some type of way. I know so many people that have been taken down from YouTube. Luckily, I've never gotten any one of my videos flagged off YouTube. I've said a lot of shit, definitely, but I've definitely, like, an advertisement has been flagged for we can't sponsor this because you talked about this. And I'm like, but that's a real thing. Do you want real information out there? Even if it's like, might be falsely or some of it might be a little bit wrong. I might mix some of it up because I do so much talking. I'm like, it's going to cause people to look it up. Do you not have that much trust in people to want to look up the actual information?
Exactly. You know, I had one of my videos flagged and it caused me a strike.
A strike?
I got a strike on YouTube, a community guideline strike. And they're like, if you get 2 more, we're going to cancel your channel. But the community strike wasn't even on one of my podcasts. It was on me and my wife's podcast where I married a Bigfoot. And it was on a Bigfoot video. And what's even more crazy is, like I said, I do all the things. I give people their fucking shout out. I let them know where I got it, where they can view it, and that it's not my video. But what ended up happening is the person who owned the video was in a comment too. Didn't email me, wasn't professional about it. Was like, you owe me $700 because
you told me this.
Yeah, exactly. And fucking, I now make it my fucking life. Every time I see his videos post up, to fucking trash talk him and to fucking let everybody fucking know that he's a fucking fraud. And I've seen him see my shit when I say it, but I don't give a fuck. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Like I said, I'll tell you, he's a fraud. He's a fake. Because I literally looked this dude up. And this dude is known to fake Bigfoot videos and is known to fucking do all this shit. So I just make sure that I'll send links too. I'll be like, here, this is who this guy is. And I'll send like a couple of links just to verify. People are like, man, fuck this guy. Fuck it. I'm like, exactly. Fuck this motherfucker.
I think a lot of people would hear you say that and be like, I don't want to talk to that guy. He's a trigger. He's like a hairline trigger, man. And I'm like, man, if you're authentic, he does not fuck with you. That's the thing, is being authentic. I call out bullshit when I see it too. It's a very rare quality in today's time. And you would think people call out people all the time on the internet. They're not calling out authenticity. They're not calling out bullshit. They're calling out something that somebody put into their fucking head that's not true.
That is true. And that is true. You know what I'm saying? It's like, people don't want to call people on real bullshit. They just want to call them on the fucking external fucking doesn't mean shit bullshit. Like, nah, I'm calling out this guy's character. Fuck him.
Yeah, when how many people do, I know you've probably come across it too, just on Twitter or Facebook or any social media thing. I stand with this And I'm like, do you fucking really? Because
Yeah.
what the fuck are we talking about here? Because I'm looking at you and I can sense that you're not this person. You're putting on a fucking persona. I had just talked to this with a past episode. He was like, you ever see on social media where like someone says like, why do we need to change our profile picture to say that we stand with them when I know who I am. I know I fucking support anybody. I'm not a horrible person. And it's like, yeah, the people that put it up there, then you look at them like, but do you really, man? Do you really? Like, why do I feel the need to want to change my profile picture if I care about people? I don't need to express that anywhere else but in my own life and I put good vibes out.
Yeah. Telling you, man, you see it all the fucking time. It's so fucking crazy too, because like it's not just one or two, it's a lot of fucking people out there doing that shit.
It's businesses now too. And that's what's really fucking weird. It's like, why does because a business is like, we stand with you, but also we have $29.99 for this Roku TV. And you're like, oh my God, you're fucking trying to pull people in, thinking that they're going to bring more attraction to your business. And I'm like, that's just, to me, that's even more worse than not supporting or being against.
It's so fucking crazy, bro. It's so fucking crazy.
Don't you get scared as like a parent for a kid that's going to be adventuring out into this world and not be able to, because it's completely changed from like when you were a kid.
No, it's completely changed. Like, you know, and you know, I do it with my daughter a little bit where I'm a little more I try to give her a little more freedom, but she's like, no, and she understands that there's fucking crazy people out in the world. You know what I'm saying? She's seen crazy shit happen. But the thing is like, she'll like, I'll be like, hey, you want to go? I was like, I'm not going if you're not taking me. I'm like, all right, then I respect it. But my younger son, he'll take off. I'm like, go do your thing. But the thing is I teach my kids common sense. I teach my kids to understand choices. I teach my kid. And the only reason I do it is because I need them to be a person and not be one of these fucking idiots on the fucking road. One of these fucking idiots that don't get what it needs to make a real fucking decision. Just like you said, at a four-way stop, everybody's sitting there like, are you gonna fucking go? My kids are like, no, we're going. You know what I'm saying? If I need to make the choice, I'm making the choice first. And that's what we need to teach kids, because nobody fucking does that shit. And so I am worried for them, but I'm not worried about the decision that they're gonna fucking make, because they're gonna make their right decision. Not my right decision, their right decision. And that's what people need to fucking learn, because just like he said, people are indecisive because they're worried about other fucking people's fucking opinion about themselves. But when you teach kids not to give a fuck about no one's opinion but their fucking own, they're going to live the right life.
It's kind of nuts when you look at the fact that like whenever I see somebody that comments or says something on somebody's post or something, or starts trying to call out a person on social media because they're trying to gather an army of people to take you down, I just look at it like, you're not fucking happy in your own life. The person that's actually happy is going to scroll right past it and not give a fuck about whatever someone else says, because what are you affecting? What are you doing with your gatekeeping, whatever the hell you want to call it, your gaslighting, whatever. I'm like, there are people out on the internet, Tim J. Dillon, for instance, that dude is funny as shit.
Hell yeah.
He calls out so much political bullshit, but he's banned from all social media platforms, much like Alex Jones, because he does expose a lot of government shit, but he does it in a funny way. He doesn't actually mean a lot of the shit that he says. And he's trying to teach you in a way that you can soak it up, which is with humor.
Yeah, exactly.
I just look at it like, how many people, like some dude at a live show of his, I think you liked the video of it, said, you suck. And he goes, you suck. And it's like, he starts joking around saying you're a cult leader and all this. It's joking. A normal person can understand that he's joking when he says that, but people retweet quote his shit all the time and say this is a fucking trash person. I'm like, you don't fucking know the guy. I guarantee you he would help you out if you fucking need it. And you start to look at like, people just want to find a way to chip at someone that feels like they might have more than them. Like, you're not happy in your own life and you're taking it out on anybody on social media.
Anybody. You know, that's what, like, you know, with the social media that I have not the same issue, but I have people that'll reach a fuck you, fuck this shit. And I don't, the only thing that they'll get from me is that I read the message and then I blocked them. That's it. That's all I ever do. Like, I don't engage with anybody that has any negativity to say to me. And everyone's, oh yeah, you know, good comments, bad comments. You got to take it all. Like, look, I don't give a fuck if someone just talking shit, but when someone takes the time to tell me that I'm a horrible person, block. I don't give a fuck. Guess what? You no longer have to see me now. I literally just disappeared off the internet for you.
I
You know what I'm
literally
saying?
disabled comments on my YouTube because I think yours is the only videos that I have a dislike in. And I'm like, what the fuck did we say? We talked Bigfoot, we talked about
You
motivational
know?
shit. And there, I guess someone probably knew you from when you retweeted the episode and they saw it and they're like, I just don't like this person. It's like, then worry about your own life. Like you're
Yeah.
not, it's 100% true. You're not going to get along with everybody in the world, but you
That's it.
can't just sit there and be like, I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure this person never succeeds. It's like, then you're going to be a miserable fucking prick for the rest of your life.
Miserable person. Because guess what? I've already forgotten about who the fuck you are. You know what I'm saying?
It's just it's nuts to me, man, because as much as people are trying to succeed, this is why I talk about, like, we shouldn't be fighting on social media, because there's something bigger than all this that's really keeping us from doing what we want to do, being able to succeed, being able to have like a better health in this scenario. I would talk about when it comes to the fact of like the world is kind of going into a mental health garbage disposal. And I'm like, there's so much bigger things at play that is just going right by our eyes. All in the fact is because we're so fascinated with social media and fighting with people around us rather than coming together and trying to find a way to take down this corporate industrial thing that's been going on for so long. I'm not for dismantling the government, but I'm not for everything that we're doing that is making it so fucking hard where we look like just like, it's like Walmart. We're a number to them. They don't give a fuck about your birthday. They don't give a fuck about who you are. And when
Any
you
of that
stop
shit.
caring about the people that you're monitoring, it's like your fish tank. You just let the tank get fucking dirty.
That's it. And that's what Walmart does, man. It's fucking, like I said, there's so many fucking things out there that fucking this shit happens in. Cause like I said, we're all a fucking number to every one of these fucking companies. We're literally just metadata. We're just metadata floating in this world that people are just trying to gather up so they know what to fucking sell us and take our fucking money. It's just how it fucking goes. You know what I'm saying? It's just so fucking crazy. Before, I used to be able to go to a fucking local grocery store. And like I said, I live in a small town area. The people at my grocery store know who the fuck I am. They say hi, we have a conversation, we talk football, and then I'm out the fucking door. You know, so you can't get that at a fucking Walmart. You can't get that at a fucking Target. You can't get that at a fucking big time fucking store because they don't give a fuck about you. Because I swipe your fucking card, get the fuck out of my store. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't consider it a job to ask how someone's day is going, but I also would consider it a job when you're on social media, making sure that someone has a miserable day just because you don't like one thing that they said. You know, I've been fortunate enough not to come across a whole lot of crazy people doing this podcast. I mean, my definition of crazy is people that literally just want to hate you rather more than just be able to talk.
Yeah.
And it just, it gets me because I look at it like, man, like there is so much other shit to be worrying about in the world rather than the fact that this person voted for this person or this person voted for this person. But we can't even evolve our discussion past that. You know, you can't say certain things in an idea that it might seem or come off as racist or you're being this type of person. It's like, couldn't even explore the Wuhan lab thing that they're all saying they all did a complete 180 on. And I'm like, look, like it's right in front of your face, but you're blinded by an overreaction to something that should be reacted on. Obviously, racism is horrible, but you got to understand that anybody can label something. Let's say like there's a cookie jar or something. I say you can have a cookie, but if you take a cookie, you're racist. You won't take the cookie because you don't want to be a racist. It's like, what does the cookie have to do with racism? You're not seeing that. They're just you're not adding the numbers up. You're not connecting the fucking dots here.
That's it. Now, what do you think about them saying reparations from China to us for fucking for the coronavirus?
I don't know about all that. I don't think it's really China's problem. I think there's a big issue with the CCP that a lot of people aren't, that I've been getting super, I've been talking about so much about that, all that stuff. But someone mentioned to me, they go, yeah, well, the car you drive is from China. This is from China. I'm like, yeah, but Clubhouse, TikTok, these apps, they're sending your data straight to them, and they're giving you information. When you buy a car, the data doesn't get sent from your car to them, just funding does. And sadly, that funding, that short payment, does fund these China or these concentration camps that are in China that the CCP government has over. I think they're called Uyghur Muslims. They're a certain type of Muslim that through cameras, through technology, they're able to identify them in the crowd and be able to put them into these camps and lock them down. I've talked about this so many times where a dude looked it up in the middle of a podcast, was like, holy shit, it is true. I'm like, yes. And I'm not saying that we're going to be able to change them. That's never going to happen. Lose that thought out of your head. But we can find ways to slowly reduce our funding to their products and to these things and start building an economy that is self-sustainable rather than relying on someone else to make our shit for us. We're not going to be able to stop what goes on over there. So going over there would be stupid, but we can find ways to be more reliant on ourselves for things so they're not grabbing us by the balls every time.
Now, let me ask you another question. What do you think about Trump wearing his pants backwards?
See, I looked at that because it turns out his pants weren't on backwards. His
They're
belt,
supposed to be designer.
No, his belt was like still functional from the front, so you'd have to put your belt on backwards and shit, which I don't think is true. I think what happens is that the way he's like the you saw the crease, it looked like there was
always saw.
Yeah, okay, the crease. I think if anything you should have noticed is that the fact that like his crotch, like when people get so heavy that they have like this like bulged out crotch, that's not like they're actually, you can't see their dick anymore. It's just fat. That's what he had. And people were like not noticing that, but it was angling the pants in a way that made it look like they were creasing in, like they were bent. I don't think his pants were on backwards. I think they were rubber pants or that elastic pregnancies type shit.
I looked at that's exactly what I thought too. I was like, all right, first of all, he's wearing spandex. Get this man a 40 and a cigarette, and he's ready to show the video there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Standing out on the porch with no shoes on, like.
But the fact that like that man has literally caused people to hate anything that he says when he's said a lot of this shit that we should be looking into, and then nobody will look into it because now it's labeled as a Trump thing. I'm like, guys, this is a little bit bigger than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just a little bit. Just it's like I said, he's been able to generate enough hate where anything that comes out of his mouth, just like he said, is fucking garbage. He's like, no, I don't believe it. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so crazy. He's gathered so much love. We're like, he's still the president. Biden's not in the White House.
Well, Kamala Harris is the one that just did that recent interview, and everyone's like, nobody will call her out on this, that she sounded exactly like Trump, because she was like, if you're coming over here from the Mexican border or from the border between Mexico and the United States, if you're trying to come over here illegally, you're not coming over here. And before it was all this acceptance talk. Now it's like, we're not having this fucking happen. I'm like, yeah, there should, if we have legal ways to get over here, it might be fucking difficult, but they need to find ways to pursue that as well too, which sucks. Is because I've been through our legal system. Our legal system is dog shit. Me trying 100%. To get this, and I fucking live here and I'm a citizen here, is still fucking difficult. So I'm like, that's the process. That the issue is not illegal people coming over here. The issue is that why is it so fucking hard to go through the legal ways? That's the issue.
Well, they make all these loopholes and all these conditions that you have to fucking get here. And the reason they do it is because they're trying to deter people. And guess the fuck what? Just because you deter them doesn't mean they're going to fucking not come, because the harder you make it, the more they're going to just come, because it's fucking, it's easier to do it this way and just be illegal. If it was legally easier to come, people would do it. Give them the opportunity, give them the chance, but they don't give them the chance to fucking really better their fucking lives. Living in Mexico is not as bad as it is living in America. The only thing is we just get paid more. That's why they come here, so they can send that cost of living back to their fucking family. I know so many people that do that. I know so many people who have homes in Mexico just come up here, live for fucking 20 years to fucking and work and generate money just so they can move back home when they're done working. You know what I'm saying? And if they could, they would transplant everybody here, but they won't let them because make it so fucking difficult to fucking get a green card. Before, if you had a child here and your child was born here, you're automatically a citizen. No longer. If you have a kid here, your kid's an American citizen, you're not. You get deported and they're stuck here. And it's like, are you fucking serious?
You know what pisses You know what pisses me off really bad about that whole situation is that I've heard so many people say like, well, look at them. They're like, they don't know how to get out of the situation. They're like toddlers. I'm like, first of all, you don't understand is they're in a whole other country that they probably don't even speak our language. And you know how
Yeah.
hard it is to function in somewhere you don't speak the language. It's like if I
Yeah.
went to Japan, I'd be like, what the fuck do I do? I'd look like a child walking around in the streets. But oh, I'm over here. I thrive pretty fucking well.
Yeah.
My issue is, and here's my theory. Ready? It all comes down to population. I've been talking to plenty of people from volcanologists, through the years of doing
Yeah.
the podcast. I've kind of
Yeah.
talked to a couple of people.
Yeah.
I've started to realize something is that we have no way of being able to stop a natural disaster. When
Yeah.
a volcano happens, an earthquake happens, a thunderstorm, even a severe one, we get inside, hide in the bathtub, these old methods. At one point in our history, there was an operation that the government was researching on how to fly planes over hurricanes to reduce the size by releasing a type of spray and chemical into it to be able to reduce it. Do you think they stopped because they looked at natural disasters as a great way of keeping the population down?
Let me tell you right now, they're creating a lot of these disasters, man. There's fucking.
Oh, you went that way with it.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like I said, I've seen too much and I've read too much, and movies right off top are based in reality. All right, there's so many things that have been designed and created in movies, but then wow, we really have that. You know what I'm saying? They have in Saudi Arabia. They have the ability to create oasis. They're making it rain on a weekly, monthly basis to have a luscious fucking land. Otherwise, it'd just be desert. You know what I'm saying? These fucking people that have this oil money have the ability to fucking create a wilderness just by making it rain with planes, seeding the clouds, making that shit happen. And that's just what they can get. Could you imagine if they had a weapon that shot laser beams into the ocean, heated up the water, created that generation to create a perfect fucking storm to create Hurricane Katrina, create all these hurricanes that hit the fucking world, and fucking, and the thing too is like, there's going to be these ways to do this shit. And then the one thing that scares me the most is like, there's a couple of dormant hurricane or volcanoes in not California, but on the West Coast. We live in the Pacific fucking the volcano ring, you know what I'm saying? That's part of California right off top. And then in Yellowstone fucking park, there's the fucking super volcano that these people just always seem to fucking like over fucking look. And there's ways to trigger these things to fucking thin out the population. I'm pretty sure there's a fucking super boat out there, a super fucking island, bunkers that are built in this fucking world to protect everybody that can't afford to get in.
Imagine this scenario. You ready? So this is going to be a Robbie scenario. We're going to call it. It's kind of when I toss out these crazy ass scenarios. Imagine if you get into like this deep, like underground bunker of the government, you get past all the Area 51 walls and shit. And they have this fucking like brain that is linked to the earth. And it's like, yeah, a long time ago, we found out that the earth has a brain and we can do this. And then they just slowly twist a little knife into the brain and fucking earthquake happens. And then this whole entire city goes down. You're like, this is how we've been slowly but surely keeping everything on the wraps, is that we control it all right here.
All right, now check. I'm gonna
good movie.
Like a clear. Yeah, it's a good movie. All right. I was watching some stuff last night, and in the world we have the crust, we have the magma, we have the core. Well, yesterday when I was reading a couple of articles, watched a couple of videos, and they're talking about, look, we have magma, but they have these magma clouds that are, the ground penetration rate, sequences they have through satellites. They can literally, and this is all they're saying. This is all speculation. I didn't verify any of this shit, that they can literally almost get all the way into the core. And so they have these clouds that are floating around in the magma, and they look like these fucking webs that are just like floating in there. And so they're just putting correlation of like, well, when an earthquake happens, they're thinking the vibration that hits that earthquake is being distorted through these fucking clouds. What if these clouds are not fucking clouds, and now they're just the tentacles from the fucking brain out there sending out the fucking waves to the fucking crust? I'm just saying, that just kind of, I was just like literally watching and I'm like, are you fucking serious? Are there really these fucking like dark spots in the fucking magma that they can see, that they can measure, that they have like this depiction of like, this is what we think it looks like. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? Is this the embryonic cord that's going to the fucking crust that's going to fucking hit us? I don't know.
I got another one for you on space. They say space is infinite. How do we know that? Just because we haven't been far enough to be able to discover the end of it.
Exactly. Well, our telescopes ain't that fucking strong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We only get so much distance.
That's what I'm saying is like we label things and we say this is this and this is that. And then we build up these theories that get shattered later down the road. I'm like, how do you fucking know? If you haven't explored that far, if you haven't gone that far, you can only see as far as we can can see.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess since I can't see New York from my house, that just means New York can't exist.
Let me tell you right now, we fucking can't. We. What if the fucking end of our fucking galaxy? Because like we've gone as far as Pluto. There's fucking satellites that are flying that flew past Pluto from what they say. I don't know how true that fucking is, and fucking got these fucking pictures. But the thing is what if it just fucking plopped out of the fucking galaxy and that's the end of it? You know what I'm saying? We're just literally in a backdrop. That's how this Earth could be. We could. I'm not a flat earther, but I don't fucking believe in any of the ideas of flat earth. But the thing is what if it's a flat fucking universe?
See, I'm more in the belief that it's probably like that ending of Men in Black where the aliens are rolling marbles in each side of the marbles of the universe. I'm like, I bet it's something crazy like that. I bet you get to a point like an Interstellar where you go past the galaxy to this nothing of just everything's black. And then suddenly if you keep going and going and going, knowing that there's nothing to see in sight, there's going to be endless black. Then you get past this point and then it's just nothing. It's not just black. It's maybe something else. Maybe it's a whole nother dimension. Maybe it's a whole nother time. Maybe it's something like that. I have no clue.
I believe it. I believe there's too many crazy things out there for me not. And like I said, I sit there and I speculate this shit to my fucking self. The only time I really ever talk about this is when I talk with you, Robbie. You know,
I'm glad.
Like I talk a little bit with my wife, but she rolls her eyes at me and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? She gets to hear all my crazy ideas when I want to blurt them out. But, sometimes when you hash these things out, it's like you really, I'm trying to answer the questions of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all have these thoughts. What if? And I want to know that what if. And I want to know, is it true or isn't it true? But what I really want to know is what the fuck is going to be at the end of the line. So fucking crazy.
You want to know what that is, but people don't even know what the fuck gluten is.
I know what gluten is. I know exactly.
I do too. It's just nuts. It's just like people like go like, oh, you know how cool it'd be to be able to live on Mars. I'm like, you don't even know what the fuck. What are we talking about here?
Oh my God.
It's fucking fascinating to me because I look at like we think of everything that happens into our lives as this grand scheme, but it doesn't mean a speck on the universe and it doesn't mean anything past that. I want to explore our oceans. I want to find out. First of all, I think the only way to get to that is to like we talk about aliens, for instance.
Yeah.
I've talked to a bunch of alien people recently that talk about this idea that aliens might be helpful. And I was like, but why would they ever, and Neil deGrasse Tyson has this point, why would they ever make contact with us when we just fight and all we do is destroy? Like they would just look at us like children that don't know how to function or play right properly. But then I would look at it like, do you think the aliens would see a bigger threat if they came down here that they might want to help us? They might want to interact and see us not destroy ourselves if we were a part of their creation. Like we talk about the little 4 vials dropped off on each planet where the last vial left. Yeah. But I look at it like, if anything, the aliens would understand, and maybe the Illuminati or whatever starts to go like, fuck, man, like we're making a mark on their radar, like I think they did when Trump was president, they did a grand scale like map of the US and there was like one little light out of all these giant cities and they go, that's Trump. Like you can see the amount of noise and splash he's making in the pool is actually enough to see a little bit of thing, but everyone else just doesn't even show up. And I go, I bet the Illuminati probably fears that they're starting to make a mark on the radar. And I wonder if the aliens actually came down here, would they be able to exfoliate that or be able to bring that out in such a way where it's like, hey, this is what's causing your corruption. You're being divided because they dangled these shiny keys in front of you. You guys are good people. You guys are meant to work together, but you're so divided abide it because you're being brainwashed and put into a certain thing. And the aliens just come down and go, look, we got to help you out.
You know, and that's one of those things. If that were to happen and people were to be brought up to light, it's almost like the Matrix. Some people would be able to handle it. Some people, and I'm not talking about the aliens, I'm talking about the Illuminati part. I feel that most people are desensitized enough to be like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? I get the alien part, but the Illuminati part, like these people are ruining your lives. And the next thing you know, we're going to have a purge scenario. You know what I'm saying? Where people are like, we're going to kill everybody because guess what? That's what we do as a human race. We fucking like, nope, it's anarchy now. We found out that these motherfuckers are screwing us and we need to do something about it, at least for the majority of the people that are real. Like people, they always say, eat the rich. Well, guess what? We're not eating the rich. We're eating the powerful.
Oh, one day it's going to get to a point where you have to, if you are going to eat actual food, not just processed clone food, like actual real nutrient rich food, it's going to be a luxury. It's only going to be for certain wealth classes and things of that sort. That's where it's going to end up going. And you can only have kids if you make a certain amount of money or you've done an accomplishment in your life, because they only want to breed successful people, not a bunch of other people that are just going to be ones and zeros. They'll choose when you get to have a kid. And even then that kid's going to have like crippling side. It's like CRISPR. If you pay enough money, you can make your kid have blue eyes. But then you look at it like, how far until you're able to make that kid sterile, and then next thing you know, that kid grows up, he's trying to have kids, he finds out that they put this thing inside of him, and now he can't have kids because, well, we're going to give you that gene when you make a certain amount of money, so we know that you're going to actually be a productive member of this country, not just a fucking loser that lives on the side of the street.
You ever seen that movie Idiocracy?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's going to be like Terry Crews is our president.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? What was the name of the drink? It was I only feed the plants Mountain Dew.
Feed them fucking Gatorade.
That's it.
It has electrolytes in it.
It has
like,
electrolytes in it. Like, no.
I hope it doesn't get to that point, because then I just honestly, if you ask me, I think eventually, like the human race, the only thing that's going to end up killing us off is ourselves. And I don't think it's going to be war. I think it's a factor like we don't understand with plastics, making everybody sterile. Eventually, people aren't going to, we're so reliant on those things. Nobody's going to just stop using plastics.
Never.
So that seems like the ending process if we don't affect change. That's why I talk about the long game. What's the long game and all these things that we're doing that we're like, this is amazing, but what's it causing? There's got to be something there that's slowly diminishing something that's going to affect future generations. I want to know what those are. I wish they would just come right out front and be like, hey, there's this that we've been doing since this long. It's like classified operations in the government. 30 years later, it comes out redacted, and then you see a bunch of missing names or people that went missing on these missions. You're like, why does that have to be 30 years? Why can't we just know the effects now so I can know whether to accept this or not?
Exactly. It's like MSG. It used to be bad for you, and now it's good for you.
What? When did that change?
MSG has never been bad for you. MSG is in almost everything. Because what they used to promote is MSG is going to cause you cancer. Well, it didn't cause people cancer.
It causes bloat, which why I consider it evil.
Oh, yeah, it does cause bloat. But the thing is it's one of those things that just create flavor. You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel full. It makes you feel like you're hungry, but it's not bad for you. You can literally go to any store and buy a bottle of MSG. And so if it was really cancer causing, they wouldn't be selling it like that.
I bet another bill that's going to come due, just like the plastics and sterilization, is the fact of all these artificial sugars and stuff we put in our drinks. They're going to end up causing, I've heard so many accounts of people with gastrointestinal diseases now that at younger and younger ages, I'm like, that's got to be the bill that's coming, is the fact that it's affecting with your gut biome or your gut health because you're putting this type of processed thing inside of your body.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, kids now, and like I said, and I'm horrible with it too, because I would always give my kid, like I remember growing up and not getting McDonald's or wanting to get it, and it was like this luxury treat. And I do that to my kids. I take them out to eat all the fucking time, but that's what's fucking killing their guts. That's what's killing it. It's not just the processed food, but it's like the processed everything. You know what I'm saying? Chicken nuggets, fucking, and chicken nuggets are fucking evil. Chicken nuggets right off top are the first fucking main food that kids are fucking programmed to fucking eat. And they eat them goddamn until like they're almost like 10 years old,
because they're the size of 3 of your fingers. You can easily put it in three fingers.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, look, it's like the gateway drug of food. You know what I'm saying? It tastes good. It's delicious. It's crispy, and it's chicken. And just because we throw chicken in front of it, we make it it's going to be healthy. I was like, fuck no, it's not. It's even more processed. You know, and I'm just saying McDonald's chicken nuggets, because when we say chicken nuggets, that's what you think. That's what goes straight to your fucking head. Everyone in the world, McDonald's chicken nuggets, when you say chicken nuggets. And fucking that right there is the fucking gateway of starting of that fucking destroying that gut and destroying that health, is that whole process.
Well, it's a meal that is created like a snack. It is literally like when you go to a bar or something, even though you're not hungry, you're watching the game, but they put bar peanuts out. You grab one because you can put a quick one in your finger and eat it real quick. They don't have a bowl full of burgers sitting out saying, here's a snack for you. No, that doesn't happen. And here's my thing on it. People are like, I don't think the McDonald's guy, when he made the company, was expecting all this evil and all this stuff and end up making society fat. I was like, nobody ever expects shit to turn out that way. No, he didn't. He didn't care. I always talk about problems, for instance. When I have a problem, if I feel like my knee, or like I did cardio yesterday or the other day, my calf muscles hurt like fuck. I knew it when I was doing it that I was probably going to hurt the next day, but I didn't give a shit because in my mind, I went, that's for the future Robbie to deal with. Any of these companies that are creating something that end up affecting it generations upon generations later, they go, that's a future thing. This is going to make me successful now
and forever.
That's why it's fucking nuts, man. I wonder what it's going to be like in 20 years.
That's it. It's gonna be fucking crazy.
Did you hear about the guy that sold the invisible
oh my god, for like, it was like $13,000. You got to use your imagination, motherfucker. Nope. Guess what? I don't have to pick it up. You don't have, it doesn't need to be delivered. I'll imagine it to your house.
That's true, but then that's also his ploy of being like, it's easy to sell now because you don't even have to pay for cost of moving.
Oh my god. It just fucking,
people cheating the system.
Big time cheating the system.
Well,
oh my god, it's fucking crazy, bro.
Well, Ben, you giving me enough of your time. Oh, you got something else?
No. Fucking, I can go off on a tangent any fucking time.
But you giving me enough of your time, man. I know it's been a pleasure having you on again. I'm sure we're going to see you more on this episode. Jason, actually, in a recent episode, just mentioned you. His episode will be going up here.
Yeah, well, I see Jason online all the time because I've always been interested in arm wrestling. So getting to see his material and seeing this stuff, I'm like, all right.
We're talking about two different Jasons.
Oh, which Jason we're talking about?
Mixed Media Forest.
Oh yeah, Jason Lampro.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, not
Jason was like a common baby name back in the day.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, definitely was. Jason, hey, he's fucking funny as fuck, man.
He's got too much like podcasts on his plate, I'd say.
Oh yeah. And well, like sometimes you got to spread yourself thin to make it good. You know what I'm saying? It's like that thin layer is just enough.
Yeah, I definitely think that it is important because you don't want to make this into a job. You want to make this to a fun thing that you create, right?
Exactly, and that's what we're supposed to do out here.
That's why it's good about listening to your show, because I can hear you rant about things. I'm like, he's calling it out. I just witnessed this today.
Oh yeah.
All right, give me what I want to hear, which is all your links.
All right. Well, guess the fuck what? This is the Angry Motherfucking Dad. You want to watch my shit? IGTV, YouTube. You want to listen to it? Spreaker, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, SoundCloud, Deezer, iHeartRadio. You can find this motherfucker area. Make sure you rate, review, like, subscribe, all that bullshit. And guess the fuck what? You're listening to Out of the Blank.